is the Chinese version of Hannibal, and getting drunk by a live snake is his fresh leg, and eating the raw, poisonous meat of a snake is equivalent to being drunk, and this time the target he wants to hunt is the man-eating giant. But such a vigorous man would obediently hand over the banknote into his hand. But unexpectedly, the man directly gave the example of murder to both of them, and then the sailor was cut into pieces and thrown into the river. Those who utterly loathe sitting on the ground. Sure, take what you want as much as you want. However, shortly after the three of them left, a monstrous creature directly decapitated the boatman. Following this, all three also came into possession near the statue of a serpent, according to the map. This certifies that the legendary new red naga is real, and the snakeskin on the tree endorses it, which makes Jeff very excited. However, at that moment, a gooch oxen encountered empty air beneath the red half-corner, and unexpectedly found a snake's nest. Seeing these densely poisonous snakes, both of them immediately felt very excited, because these snakes were enough to move them around, so both of them started catching snakes like crazy, did not get a hint of the weapon, and humming a small song, he kicked a string of snakes on the boat. Only then he realized that the head of the nucleus, the bereft body, was standing upright in the water, and he was so frightened that he turned and ran away. But unfortunately, it was too late to run, and at the same time another companion who was unaware of it was still walking towards the shore, but unexpectedly encountered a huge dragon on the way, and the companion was first confronted, until Jeff turned around and found in a panic Pingham's house was in front of him, and the dragon just looked like a spicy bar. But luckily Jeff reacted immediately and escaped by slipping into the river, hiding in a wooden box. But he didn't stop there, so he turned his head and stared at the circus passenger ship and the wooden box, till the people on the boat also found, which was swept upwards. To take a shortcut, they decided to blow a path with explosives, but they did not notice that the wooden box was full of snakes, and after arranging everything to explode, countless snakes flew away, and there was no rain-like snake. Rather, there was a large worm in the woods with a thin mouth and 2 legs, because Jeff saved Fat Man's life. Everyone let in. As soon as Jeff left, when the captain was fishing on Now's bow, he found that the surface of the water was constantly plundering, and then the fishing rod was pulled down, and when he lay down and was about to take the fishing rod, he was unexpectedly pulled down by something underwater, and it wasn't until everyone woke up that the captain was missing. At this time, the birds and animals in the forest were once again worried, and everyone was aware of these strange phenomena. The big man is here again. It turns out that the captain was made into a bait by Jeff, and the dragon was also successfully fooled. As Jeff slowly tightened the steel cable, a dragon crushed out of the empty water, and after struggling for a moment, there was no movement. Jeff thought he had succeeded, but unexpectedly at this moment, the dragon suddenly exerted force. Jeff also fell straight down with the pole, but luckily he immediately climbed on his stomach. Jeff thought he had succeeded, but unexpectedly at this time that the dragon suddenly applied force, and Jeff fell straight with the pole. Luckily, he immediately got his, and then Jeff, a chance to trap the dragon from behind. But during the struggle, the python accidentally knocked on the oil and incense burner, and then the fire spread and ignited the explosives, and Jeff quickly saw the reaction, and immediately choked into the river. Everyone had to lose the ship to escape, but luckily Kal was burnt alive because of this. But now that there is no name, they cannot leave the forest as soon as possible. Jap said that they have a boat, as long as the boat walks to the side, although the girl did not believe Jep. After all, she had a map in her hand. She had to follow her to the current position. While she was taking a break, girl, just take a sip of mountain spring water. If you become parasitic, you will be like those praying friends who search for water like madmen. In the end, you will drown in the water, just like Sham found Jeff. He found Jeff having something, which he just put inside his sleeve and walked toward the distant stone cave. Seeing this, the man deliberately put his hand into the cave of the Vikshili snake. With a cramp, he used his arm as a trick to catch the poisonous snake. That became our lunch. Then the people who got killed started setting fire to cook the snake. On the other hand, Jeff, who caught the snake, chose to eat it raw. He is not even afraid of parasites or death. The taste of food will attract other animals to prey, so it's better to hurry. As Jeff finished speaking, a giant dragon was stealthily approaching him. Everyone was completely unaware of this until a boy got entangled unexpectedly. But even if they used their strength to survive, they did not die. Ultimately, if you become parasitic, you will end up searching for water like madmen, and you will eventually drown. It was impossible to escape, and at the same time the cave all night, and Jeff said that the dragon was not big during the day, and which to catch. That variable dragon was the only one in the world to have such erythema. If caught, it can be exchanged for money, which many births cannot be spent, the head of the regiment listening to it. The latter suddenly lit up, so he took Jeff's to get a piece of pie, asked to cooperate with and plan made by both of them in the cave. The fishing boat was to make good use of the worm's eggs the next morning. They had to take the risk of going by waterway to reach the earliest possible. And the accident happened shortly after. One car fell behind them. Unexpectedly, Jeff, not fainted at all, but went into the forest with the dragon, and then the three immediately returned to the boat. While they were leaving, the fat man blindly struck by the ink. Jeff killed the dragon, and right now he was also alive. So he showed the ability to come and kill. Then he showed the ability to kill all three of them. Closed again, pulled the venue clippers, and set the noose, and soon a large group of pythons arrived, but they just got up small fish. And then after a while the big star serpent family confirmed their presence. As he was preparing to eat all three of them, Jeff suddenly noticed the trap pulled, and in the stampede the dragon began to struggle. To Jeff, drawn from Sabor, and when the dragon was approaching him, he would find his trapped in the branches. Jeff finally sacrificed his life for his greed. Searched and then took the opportunity of the three of them quietly fleeing. But the dragon, not expecting to leave them, he surrounded them, and contrary to expectation they decide to die. A fat man killed by a dragon, pushed in the throat, and a girl tried to stab the dragon in the eye. Attempted, and then the dragon rushed to get out, and all three also immediately took the opportunity to go, but unexpectedly, this time the python woke up again, and there was no preparation for those three unconscious people to die. But then a dramatic scene occurs when an angry python gets trapped in the steel lock installed by Jeff. Half of its head gets torn to pieces, and finally all three of them escape the place. Let go and the story ends.